Thanks everybody for coming. It didn't drag if nobody showed up. Uh, I heard my poem somewhere. I heard my poem somewhere in the South Bronx, or maybe it was Bed-Stuy. No, it wasn't at a reading in some prestigious art gallery or an American poetry review. I know it wasn't in the Village. Poetry left there in '58. Except for some movement of frantic schizoids running for the IRT in this metropolis zoo, I wondered why those poems kept shouting and hitting me from all sides. I finally realized. They've opened soup lines in Philly, tent cities in Texas where wide open spaces are as far and in between as a job. Yeah, I heard it loud and clear in a cough syrup alleyway with the stench of overdosed dope with no way out. Elmira and Attica are filled with my poems, poems that cut through bullshit and bourgeoisie facades. Poems that show the reality of Reaganomics high on bozomania, cutting taxes, cutting throats, cut the lies, 'cause the people are striking back. In Detroit, they did us in with plastic breakdowns trying to catch up with Japan. In Miami, the beaches are lined with Haitian bodies dying to see freedom. I heard my poems on their lips. They're written in empty beds of lovely lovers with no one to love. On Saturday nights, poetry screams out in discos that echo with the pain of an empty come and a kiss goodbye. The poems are all over the place, written on bathroom walls and museum halls. They shout from heating ducts and bags carried by ladies through nights cold as the administration. Maybe you've heard my poems. I think you've heard my poems. You heard them in double Dutch sidewalk 10-year-olds dancing between two ropes, keeping the rhythm of 2,000 rocket dancers. You saw them in Dr. J's dunks and moves that brought the gods to their knees. You heard them in Gil Scott-Heron's across 125th and Lenox while Harlem was set ablaze. I felt them in a slave's stride, running north to freedom with the poetry of "Take Me Home, Sweet Jesus" on his lips. You heard my poems in Polish jails on Lich Walenza's tongue. You heard them in Cell Block H. Bobby Sands screamed them loud in silent starvation protests, rocked the crown jewels without a shot. South Africa is full of my poems. They live in the memory of Steve Biko. How quickly we forget. On and on I heard my poems on the lips of people I've never met. This is a piece I wrote when I was wondering what I was going to eat for lunch. I was at work, and Daily News had a piece about on the borderline of Uganda, 35 men and women, elders of the tribe, had committed suicide so the babies would have, and younger people would have enough to eat. And I felt around that big. I felt very small, trying to decide what I wanted on, what was on my menu. And these people were committing suicide, so it would be more food for the younger people. This is called When Babies Eat Dirt. When you go on your next diet, think about people who have no choice in losing weight. Old men and women eat cattle tick ointment, commit justifiable suicide so children will live. When you do your aerobics trying to burn those calories away, think about babies eating dirt to fill hollow exploded bellies, swollen the size of a world that doesn't care. When the next Dr. Diet Book crook sells you his rip-off reasons for losing those pounds, think about a mother's breasts dried up like raisins in the sun, no milk for dying child. Think about walking skeletons, hollow cheeks, empty eyes, black holes staring into wasteland hell. Did you ever see someone starve to death? Too weak to scream, humanity filled with deaf ears, eat their own shit in desperate delirium. You forget about dignity when death is pulling your face to the ground. Same ground we build Kentucky Fried lies on. Fast food, slow death, bellies swell, babies go blind. Bones cut through paper skin while we cut through prime rib. Sugar-free, 1-calorie, delicatessen garbage, diet cake pudding with a swirl. Hell, our dogs eat better than half the world. We spend enough money on diets to feed 1 million people for a year, but starving people's screams are too weak for us to hear. So we gouge, hoard, and gorge, take, bake, and forsake with a tasty cake, then pray to God for the willpower to lose the excuses we've put on. I eat 'cause of my nerves. It runs in my family. I have a thyroid problem. It's the medicine I'm on. 'Cause I started drinking. 'Cause I stopped drinking. 'Cause my lover left. 'Cause I have nothing else to do. It's a motherfucking shame. 'Cause you never seen someone starve to death when babies eat dirt. Some falling in and falling out of love poems. I spent another night alone. I spent another night alone, but I'm getting to sleep okay now. Before, I just half slept in front of a TV, going off the air, waking at the sound of every car that comes down our hallway, Echo Street. Feeling for your warm back, feeling nothing, feeling empty. I spent another night alone, knowing your friends are tired of me calling and looking for you, but I no longer call, no longer search for a ghost that once left a sweet taste of love on my face. The smell of our love would linger on my bed and in my mind, but my sheets have been washed and my mind doesn't dwell on something that's not there. You can't bring back the dead. I spent another night alone, but I sleep sound now. It comes so easy now, and I won't let anyone break that rest. Sometimes I sleep so well that I don't even hear your knock at my door. This is a poem. I use profanity in my poems to educate, enlighten, and not to offend. I just wanted to say that because sometimes there's children in the audience, and I would like them to know that, but we're all adults here, and if anyone feels offended by the language in there, it's not to offend, but to enlighten. It's called I Can't Make Love to You. I can't make love to you because it wouldn't be love. It would be fucking, and I've been fucked over before, yeah. You look fine through blue glitter lit Lonely Hearts Disco. The music was loud and all the pretty people were on parade to see and be seen in a smoke-filled people maze. I made you out through walls of insecurity, past bullshit boogaloo backseat lovers. I dreamed of the sweet taste of your breasts. Sandalwood incense and Coltrane on the stereo. That's why I can't make love to you. It wouldn't be love. It would be fucking, and I've been fucked over before. Woke up wondering who shared my bed, and here's car fare. I'll call you sometime. Fucked around, fucked down, fucked up, and wondered what the fuck is going on. Your spirit is too fine to be played with. We have so much time to learn the sensitivities of our souls, to give and receive the contact of loving flesh, giving each other the pleasure of an erotic discovery in one's wants. The need to give and want pleasure is a need and an ecstasy. That's why right now, at this time and place, I can't make love to you. It wouldn't be love. It would be fucking. Ain't nobody fucking over me. On that same line, this is a poem with, which is a very fine book written by a bunch of poets. A lot of them are in here. Toujours L'Amour. And I was lucky enough to be one of them, to have a poem in it, in this anthology. And it's all male poets writing about experiences with females. And it's a very fine anthology. It's a limited edition. The poem I wrote in here is called Poem for a Lady of the Night. It's a woman I knew who spent most of her time at a bar stool. A very fine, beautiful person, but spent half her life at a bar stool. Over razor blade rock in an overrated bar with overpriced drinks, weak as the conversation that goes in one ear and down a cigarette butt filled toilet. Sucked up by strangers and other lovers that love lies and lie, face down, ass to the sky, I saw you. Saw blue Caribbean seas in your eyes, surrounded by cesspool party lights that couldn't dim the sunrise in your face. Cold tongues, make-believe fun couldn't shadow the peace in your eyes. I saw the lily, that flower of intense beauty, growing out of a swamp of mud, fighting through rat-infested vomit concrete. Grown past pimp mentalities, screams in the night, police siren sounds can't muffle the sweet song of your voice. This is a poem I had written. It was basically for my mother, but it's a lot broader than that. Somebody ought to tell the truth about our black women. That's the name of the poem. Yellow, high yellow, red as firelight, bright, damn near white, black, blue black, ebony skin, smooth as buttermilk. Brown, high style, majestic, wicked and witty, tawny tan, tangerine brown, chocolate brown. Too heavy for some brothers to handle. Realize you couldn't be molded into white woodwork unless you were ironing clothes or serving food. Refuse to forget your pure wool hair. Refuse to forget cornrows, and I still love your afro in the morning. Wore 3, 4, no, 5 earrings in your ears 400 years ago, and they called you savage. Stole colors from the rainbow and wore it round your head. On your back, they called you loud and gaudy. Made delicacies from chicken parts, gizzards, necks, backs, rice and beans. Say what? Yams, chitterlands, collard greens. Made wine out of dandelions, and they called it poor folks' food. Somebody ought to tell the truth about our black women. Mom carried me for 9 months and still raising me. Grandma died 14 years ago, but I still hear her calling me to dinner while Mom and Dad was at work. I was 7, coming home to a classroom of 1900s black history of how it used to be from someone who was there. Somebody ought to say something about our black women. Tell them how she loves me whether I'm on Wall Street or welfare. She'll go down with me for the final count, talking about black women, blue black women, yellow sexy women, talking about bad, bold women who'll fight for or with her man, side by side or toe to toe. Kept the faith when I wandered and played around, kept the family together when I had to see what it took to be a man. Ran around, got put down, came back home like Marvin said, got sexual healing. Talking about Tina Turner shaking me till chocolate browns make me weak in the knees. Must be jelly, cause sugar don't shake that way. Talking about Aretha, say what? Aretha Franklin, hush your mouth, cause she a natural born woman that's got respect. Betty Carter, Abby Lincoln, and the Horn, say who? Lena Horne. Betty Shabazz, Angela Davis, Edna Robinson, my mother, and I still love you, Diana Ross, even though you left the Supremes behind. Toni Morrison, but please don't let Nazaki Shange put me in my place. I may not be able to take it, but I know she still loves me. Somebody ought to write a poem about my black woman. Somebody ought to tell a real story about our black woman, about the style, her moves, and that moves me when I forget who I am, turning my head around with lips, tongue, fingers, eyes like a wizard. You knew what you was doing when you pulled me. Your ancestors worked magic. Made me think all along I had you made out. I forgot your ancestors worked magic just by the clothes they wore. Somebody ought to talk and tell the real story about our black women. It's a poem for my brother. It's called Benn Mask. Bring me the gun of the gunman that gunned down my brother. Not his head or even his face behind bars. I'm tired of blaming anyone for cutting life down to vomit, rat-infested ground. Becoming another Saturday night statistic on a street where nobody's sober, and someone will head south tonight till the whole thing blows over. Somebody bring me the gun of the one that blew life from my blood, that dreamed of pyramid worlds, dreams that streaked beyond the sky and lived the knowledge of the mind's third eye. That gun, I want that gun so I can melt it down and cast a Benn Mask that would celebrate birth, life, and, yeah, death. Death of a fulfilled human being that searched for the mind's third eye. Bring me the gun of the one that gunned down my brother, cold blue steel Smith & Wesson 38 mother, melted it down to all the evil and hate that it took to pull the trigger, cut down young Prime. One more dead nigger is made into a Benn Mask for all to see. Turn that negative into a positive. That hand that pushed that knife to end a life can push a pin. Get the heads together of aimless, lost men. And the parking meter's his headstone lying next to the curb. And the Saturday night bar crowd never said a word, and a hooker hailed a cab to some other part of town and glanced at my brother's body, sprawled out on the ground, and his bowels let loose, and his eyes stared into space. That glow of life and hopeful smile was gone from his face. Blood covered the cement mixed with cheap wine and gin, and a rookie cop asked who's the next of kin, and I screamed, man, melted it down. That gun that gunned my brother to the ground. So I may cast a Benn Mask. I hate art. I hate art that hangs in the Met, has become Rockefeller's pets, keeps me humble on museum steps trying to find the door. I hate art, the whores, gold and marbled floors. Florida tans shout their success. Noses pointed to the sky, diamond-studded ears can't hear Van Gogh's cries, but I do. Heard potato eaters' screams on 125th and Lenox. Saw starry nights from tenement rooftops. Saw you squeeze yellow sun from heart to hand to canvas life. That came alive when you dared stare the sun in the eyes, and I cried. I got my gun, had me some fun, and shot holes through art movements of cow shit on Soho floors. Like I said, whores, whose only struggle is what color BMW to buy, and Vincent's ear lies in a working woman's hand. I hate art. Why I am a poet. A lot of times, people, they ask you, well, what do you do? And you say, I'm a poet. You say, oh, that's nice, but what do you do? It's very hard for non-artists to take a poet seriously. And it's so serious how we are. And I think poets are very serious about their work, and I had to write this down as a comeback for people who ask me, what do I do? Why I'm a poet? Because I don't have the money to become a doctor, the strength to become a minister, the patience to become a psychiatrist, not enough free time to be a wino, too crazy to be a revolutionary, not crazy enough to be a prophet. So I write poems that heal the body as well as the mind, stay drunk while I write poems that forgive the sins of the soul, write blueprints for revolutions and read them in subways and on street corners like John the Baptist. You all can borrow that, if you want to, and next time someone asks you why you're a poet, throw that on them. This is for a friend of mine. I have to say that this was inspired The rhythm and style of this poem was inspired by Harold and Baraka, Amir Baraka and Harold Watson. I had written it before. I had written it about a year ago, and then after hearing Harold read and Baraka read, I rewrote it to where I think it's going. It's getting the message over a little better than I had it before. It's called Long Time No See. It's for a friend of mine. Long time no. Let me say this. It was about a friend of mine who had changed his whole lifestyle because of his job and working in the white corporate structure, and he had completely lost his identity and his personality, and it was very hard for us to relate. And he had to sacrifice this for his job, and I wasn't knocking him because JOBs are hard to get out there, and sometimes people do weird things to dance to the music, and when somebody else is playing the music, you do some weird dances. And I went home and wrote this. Long time no see, but I seen you've seen the light since you've turned white. Turn your back on black nappy-headed chillin', living off cough syrup, killer weed, weekday, weekend, weak minds. Chain snatching, aimless generation you left behind, raining terror on your sisters you left behind. Locked behind a graffiti wall art show, shouting to that silent majority, moral mockery, three-piece put down, conservative kind club you've joined. Act like you know, cause I knew you when you was colored, and nobody better not call you black, cause you was half Indian on your mother's side. Anything but black, yeah, nigga, I knew you win. No matter how much you sell your blackness, your BLACKNUSS nuss for, you still a house nigga to them. Do you think your mom's momly mother will forget your imitation of life, your northern pursuit of happiness, chasing white dreams, white talking, walking with your Ronald Reagan friends, your been around the world friends, your treat you like a guest friends, your nasal talking, out of step, no history friends? Nigga, please, you still one step behind, trying to buy their Cadillacs as they drive their Toyotas. And like an ass, you fell for the scheme. Fell for the green lawns and suburban outland dreams as they con you out of rehab city battleground. Take over their middle class Tylenol world. Won't be long for you be jumping off bridges, running from stock market oblivion. Where you gonna be when Ronnie opens the way, gives the okay, and the Klans marching down Pennsylvania Avenue? The climate's right now. You still think you white now? Where you gonna be when SWAPO stomps on apartheid genocide lies like conservatives conserving Reaganomic tricks, trickling down crumbs your Medicaid mother picks up? Did you think your Gucci bags could forget that Papa's got a brand new bag? James Brown screaming, singing, "Eee! Please, please, please." Not even Diana Ross can get Detroit out of her veins, no matter how white she thinks she is. Corn liquor in a mayonnaise jar, backseat 55 Chevy lover. Smokey talking about bad girls, Junior Walker walking with a shotgun of love. How the hell you gonna hide wicked Wilson Pickett on a golf course lawn jockey, staring you in the eyes, begging for liberation, waiting for the word to throw down that lantern and run to Black Liberator, bringing in the new lib. Women's lib, men's lib. Liberace can't play what's in your veins. Don't compromise the struggle or the movement in your tapping foot when the only music playing is the marvelous marvelettes rooted deep in your vein to brain. Do you think you can forget your blackness, your BLACKNUSS nuss, ultra wave, high top comfort, khaki wearing, headed for the Uptown Theater to get down Thunderbird people? Could you forget Pigmeat Markham, Contours, Step Brothers, Nicholas Brothers, Monk, Miles, McCoy, Fats Waller, Sam Cooke, cooking while the brothers and sisters danced in the aisles? Did you think you could forget grinding out some fantasies and blue-lit basement parties, walking some fox home? Don't sell those memories out for sterile, white, half-Indian lies. You invented bebop, doo-wop, Chuck Berry, Little Richard rock, back alleyway speakeasy, John Lee Hooker blues, give me a pig foot and a bottle of beer. And what was that number today? Sweat pouring, hips grinding, legs moving, high stepping blues, body moving with 1,000 years of dance in your soul. And you want to forget this? Forget how black, brown, green ground played with your toes as you stomped out a storm, as the leaves and the trees shook to the beat, and all the animals looked on in awe as you celebrated birth of a child, death of a friend, or the crowning of a king. Polyrhythmic drums, each rhythm a distinct pattern, picking out one to follow with your feet, while the other parts of your body follow with other rhythms, shoulders moving to one, feet to another, head to still a third. And you want to forget this? Forget that Picasso ripped off the Benn Mask and called it Cubism. Modigliani dug where it was at. But you want to forget it? Forget Jomo Kenyatta, Mau liberators? Respect can't be bought with $100 bill or a car called Seville. Well, I won't let you forget. I will remind you in my art, my music, my dance. I'll spray paint it on walls till you understand, because I love you. You are me, and I am you, my brother. This is a piece I had written for, I live in West Philadelphia, and West Philadelphia is and just like any place in the city, there's a lot of muggings, a lot of rip-offs, and as an artist, I feel a responsibility to the younger generation that I grew up with, to attack its situation, chain snatching, perch snatching. And this poem, I try to address younger people in my community. It's called Old English and a Bag of Killer. Old English is a bottle of beer. A bag of killer is some dynamite smoke. And I also refer to panhandle and pancake. Panhandle, which you know, begging for change. Pancake is when you take, kids 12, 13 would take a bottle of Robitussin cough syrup and take a couple Quaaludes and take it all, and they call it pancake syrup, and the pill makes them do bizarre, crazy things. Sometimes it kills them. And the radio blasts over Malcolm's screams onto forgotten pavements that once reflected flames of determination. Mindless raps on, rap on, and on over Rap Brown's forgotten fiery tongue that inflamed change, and the only thing that's changing is the color of the designer's sneakers. Snatching gold chains from my black sister's neck, snatched like a rope in some Klansman's hand, and Garvey's ghost cries tears that roll off the backs of an aimless generation. Generated to party, blow your whistle, throw your hands in the air and party hardy, 'cause no one cares. Brains packed with Pac-Man, soap opera, Luke and Laura, mindless talk huddled around the TV like flies around shit. Panhandle, pancake, and then go get paid. Then the real deal goes down, and I don't trust anyone under 30 anymore. Stop scheming, little brother. It's more convenient for them to make a head count in detention center classroom than to give you a J.O.B. A quart of Old English and a bag of killer won't change shit, little brother. Won't wipe the shame off your mother's face that stood in lost soul roundhouse hallways trying to make your bail. Look in her eyes, little brother, then tell me what the real deal is. It's called Ronnie Got His Gun. Old man with cracked face, hands walking on cracked pavement. Get your gun, Ronnie, shoot him for you run. Shoot holes in what little hope we have. 2 steps forward, 1 giant step backwards as you spit in Martin's face and everything he did. Red line district, watch out, Ronnie got his gun. Dance, poor man, between those cracked pavements of poverty, like playing with a Rubik's Cube in the dark, trying to find the right combinations out of here. Then Ronnie turns out the lights, left us stumbling in the dark, saying if we work hard enough, we'll find our way out of here. Forget about that pie in the sky, 'cause Ronnie's got his gun. Watch out for the 6-gun gunslinger, pissed off and paranoid and shooting up the town. He cleared the way, made it okay for big business and racism. So watch out, brothers and sisters, there's a new gunslinger in town. Ronnie's got his gun. This is a poem I'd written for a lady. I'm a painter who writes poetry, and I had a opening at an opening. Uh, I saw a woman, and I went back into the laboratory and I wrote this poem. I was standing across the room when something hit me from behind and took me by surprise. I talked about technique and expression, composition, but something drew me 10,000 miles away. As I hoped someone would accept my soul as it hung on these walls of desperation, I watched you evaluating me on canvas. When you were through looking at my blood on these walls, you knew me inside and out. I was drawn to you like I am to art, a challenge, a need, an ecstasy. 10,000 miles away, I saw a woman. Damn, did I see a woman. Looked in your eyes and traveled 10,000 miles away. From art gallery vending machines, wine and cheese chiclet smiles from bourgeoisie Negroes that buy black velvet paintings, past phony white liberals looking for a new cause.